Recording in progress.
All right, welcome everyone to our quarterly meeting for the West Hill Community Association. I appreciate all the folks who are here on Zoom with us, folks who are joining us through Facebook, either watching now currently through Facebook Live or watching later. We appreciate you taking time out of your Tuesday evening to join us for some updates happening in our community. Before we get started with news, I'd like to do a land acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. I'd like to also give a welcome to 2 new board members who have joined the West Hill Community Association. We are currently all volunteers, so we definitely appreciate these folks. We have now on board with us Jamie Jackson and Daniel Smith. So welcome to both of them. We're excited to have them join us. And before we go into community reports, we have a West Hill announcement. So maybe you've heard some about this already, but we would like to formally announce that we are announcing our intention to become a Community Development Association, or a CDA. And so just a bit of background, West Hill Community Association has always been about a group of neighbors getting creative with scarce resources to ensure our community's needs are met. Incremental change is not enough, and the time is now to make a bold step forward. So in becoming a CDA, or a Community Development Association, we can gather the resources and the sustainability we need to make sure that the future of Skyway West Hill is healthier, more welcoming, and more vibrant without displacing the neighbors that make this place special to begin with. This evolution of our organization has been in collaboration with Skyway Coalition and others in the community. We are committed to move forward in this process with transparency, accountability, and in close coordination with other organizations and leaders working in Skyway West Hill. We acknowledge that we are building upon the hard work of many people and organizations that have led our community to where it is today. So we're taking a bold step forward to build a better Skyway West Hill for all of our neighbors, and we really appreciate your support now and always. If you have any questions, please reach out to our advocacy committee led by Jeannie Williams. She's one of our true champions of this transition, and she can help you to learn more or become involved in this transition. So please reach out. This is a community effort. All right, so that concludes our West Hill Community Association updates. And now I'd like to turn to our community reports. If you're here to give a community report, just a reminder that it's about 3 to 5 minutes. And we're going to kick it off with a Renton School District, Randy Matheson. Is Randy here? Okay, we may go out of order. I'm not seeing Randy yet. Do we have a representative from Reach Center of Hope? All right, we will continue on. How about Jeremy for the Skyway Coalition? I know that you're on the call.
Cool. Let me just spotlight my video real quick. All right, cool. Hey everybody, Jeremy Williams, representing the Skyway Coalition update for this evening. I just want to give a few details about what the coalition's been up to and where we're going and how you can be engaged. So just real quick, currently the Skyway Coalition is formalizing or finalizing membership documents. So we're aiming for about August, where we will welcome in interested individuals and members and additional community organization members. So look forward to that. We're really excited about it, and it's been a long time coming. Another few updates. So the Unincorporated BIPOC Alliance with White Center and Vashon. This is connected to the latest call to action that you've supported to direct $5.25 million of King County's COVID-7 supplemental budget to our communities. Initially the funds were intended to go to our 3 unincorporated areas, but the way that the council voted for it, it's going to be open to all unincorporated King County. So right now, our alliance is working with King County Department of Local Services to help design an equitable RFP process for that. And then also currently there's King County small business grants available in the sum of $4 million. So that's open now through August 4th at 4 p.m. We also have a number of coalition meetings that are going on. If you would like to plug in, you don't have to wait for us to formally open up the membership. We would love to have you. So the first Tuesday of each month, we have an economic development planning meeting from 5 to 6 p.m. We also have a bi-monthly or monthly affordable housing ongoing planning meetings on Thursdays between 9:30 and 11 a.m. And then we're looking to schedule a larger community meeting sometime in August or September timeframe. And then also, I would just like to put in a plug for King County Department of Communities and Human Services. They will be having a meeting this Saturday, July 24th, to discuss the $5 million that has been allocated for affordable housing in Skyway. If you would like to participate in that discussion and help to set priority around how that $5 million gets spent, it would be really helpful for you to join, and you can register for that meeting up until I believe tomorrow. So there is a post on the My West Hill Facebook page right now for around the $5 million affordable housing. So you can go to that Eventbrite link and sign up. And that is all for me.
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, in good time too. I believe next for community reports, we have Cynthia with Skyway Water and Sewer.
You hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, great. So we're happy to report that our lobby is open after being closed since, I believe it was March of last year. So we're excited about that. We don't expect a lot of traffic, but still, if customers have questions, they can come into the lobby, although we have social distancing in place and we suggest masks for those that are not vaccinated. Consistent with the governor's orders, we are not charging late fees. We are not disconnecting any services. We are not putting liens in place until the end of September 31st, at least until then. We are also advocating for direct financial assistance on the federal and state level for our customers. We're waiting to see what comes of that. We have applied for for several low interest loans through the Public Works Board at the state level for 8 capital projects. We just completed those submissions on July 9th. That's for a total of about $40 million worth of applications. The state will allow us $10 million over a 2-year period. And last but not least, we have a project to replace old and decrepit water mains out for bid on the street. We'll be replacing water mains between 84th and 87th streets on South 115th, South 117th, South 118th Street, and South 120th Street. We'll be replacing about 5,900 lineal feet of old main, adding fire hydrants, and replacing the water service lines between the main and the meter. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Always exciting to hear as businesses and organizations begin to open up post-COVID. All right, so now we have King County Local Services. So anyone who is here representing King County Local Services, I think I saw Bong. Maybe there are others. Kevin?
Yeah, hi there. Yeah, I'll start off. Did Bong join us? If not, I can cover what he's going to share with you all. But basically, as folks know, we've been working on the sub-area plan for the last, going on now a couple years, but been talking with community members quite a bit, and we are working closely with we under contract with Urban Family under a contract we call Skyway Community Voices, and they're helping us with the next stage of community engagement. And we had an event a couple weeks ago. It was a good conversation around the priorities that we've heard so far, and we're going to continue to work with them to sort of come up with our next phase of engagement and around the draft of the sub-area plan. And so right now there's a lot of sort of background writing and stuff going on, but we just want to let everybody know we're planning on releasing the public review draft on August 23rd. And so there'll be some lead up work to sort of lay the groundwork and get people aware of what's going to be in it. And then we're really going to be encouraging folks to engage after August 23rd to be able to give feedback on the public review draft. Sort of in the meantime, we're also working on the community needs list and all the work that went into that to collect all the requests, and the departments are looking at that, and we're going to be coming back to the community to work on prioritization. And we're also sharing that information with the participatory budgeting committee as well. So that's the update on sub-area planning. And then let's see, did Bong join us? If not, I'll just let everyone know that there is a couple community kiosks, community message boards that have been installed. They actually, I believe, were installed on Monday, just yesterday. And there's going to be a ribbon cutting event on Friday, the 23rd, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Right, one of the locations of the kiosks is right next to the bus shelter, next to Nevzad's coffee stand. So if you come by the parking lot, there's going to be a small community event there from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. with a ribbon cutting right around 5:30. So hope folks can join us. If you have any questions or would like to participate, feel free to reach out to Bong, and I'll put his email in the chat so people can reach out to him. And I think that's it for now. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. Great. Yes, I know we'll have some West Hill Community Association representation at that event, and maybe other community organizations as well. So we're excited to gather safely. Okay, so now we are moving on. Before we move into main presentations, which we have 3 of, I just wanted to see if on our Zoom call, if we have any other community reports that would like to share.
Ben, do you want us to go now since we're doing 2 presentations, or?
Let's see.
Ours is quick. Josh and I are probably 5 minutes.
Oh, are you doing a separate presentation than what Manny is doing for about
Yep.
the engagement?
Yeah, it's a separate one.
Got it. Yes. So let's have you go ahead and go, and then we'll move into the main presentation.
Great. So let me share my screen here. Can everyone see that picture? With the sheriff in the background. You guys see that? Great. So I've had conversations with this group before, individually and as groups, on what our priorities in Skyway in our area are. This is a high-level search warrant that we recently did that impacted Skyway White Center and several other communities. As you can see, we got 13 different firearms. Several were called ghost guns, meaning they were assembled without serial numbers. And in the corner, down there on the left, there were 7,000 fentanyl pills. This search warrant brought together 2 things that are of concern to us: high-level fentanyl dealing, which is killing people in King County and all over the place, and stolen and illegal guns. This was conducted by our special emphasis team. That's the team that serves White Center, Vashon, Skyway. We were very proud of this search warrant. This is actually a public photo that we put out on Facebook and got picked up by the media. So really proud of that. I think I can share one more of those photos. If you get a feeling for, that's 7,000 fentanyl pills stacked up there. And I don't know, for the layperson, one of those pills could kill you. This batch, we believe, was manufactured in Mexico by a cartel. There is no standard, obviously, and this is for people get hooked on this when they're abusing opiates. Any one of those pills could kill somebody on the first use. So we were very proud to take that off and continue focusing on those types of crimes that affect Skyway and White Center and all of Unincorporated. Before I toss it over to Josh, there's a street racing group in Puget Sound. I'm sure you've seen the news reports. They like to go out and block roads, do donuts, they do dangerous behavior. They are fixated by Grocery Outlet. They tried to go up there on July 4th, and Josh and his crew headed it off, and they again tried to go out there. We got intelligence they were trying to go out there this last Saturday, and Josh and his crew and undercover folks kept them from doing that. We're so concerned to have a big block party start with spinning cars that are going to damage a business or kill someone. So we really took a proactive approach, both times spreading the information with the businesses, letting them know we were out there, which deters people from coming anyways. We were doing stuff on social media, and then Josh being out there. And I'll ask Josh to speak a little to that and then talk about the success of the Skyway walks that have been going on. Josh?
Afternoon, everybody. I'll be very brief. As far as the street racing groups that we've had to attempt to come into Skyway, like the major was saying, are kind of fixated on the Grocery Outlet for whatever reason. I've developed a relationship with the owner and her husband, and we've made sure that we've stayed on top of that and ahead of that, and working with our crew as well as the patrol units to make sure that things don't escalate to a further degree where businesses are damaged, people are endangered, and violence occurs. So that is a positive aspect for that. As far as the Skyway walks, this will be our second month doing it because we started in June. We've got a lot of positive feedback. If you guys don't know what the Skyway walks are, pretty much Friday through Monday, 10 to 6, we try to have at least 2, maybe 3 of us out there walking from the substation on Renton Ave all the way down to the Grocery Outlet. That is a mile walk each way back, if you guys don't know. So that is a trail to hike, but we enjoy doing it. And we got a lot of positive feedback, a lot of good emails. The citizens love it. So we want to try to keep that going and continue that. So if you guys see us, just, wave, honk, spread the word that we're out there. So that's all I got.
Thanks, everybody. Any questions? We're going to leave you in the capable hands later of Manny and Zoraida, but any questions for Josh or I before we have to go? Thank you, Finn. Thanks, Jeannie. Oh, okay. I think the one the person asking the question referring to was a DEA related Drug Enforcement Agency federal search warrant. This one that I just showed you pictures of that we announced had nothing to do with that one. Thanks. Anything else?
I just wanted to give a special shout out. I have been seeing, your presence there on Renton Avenue walking. It's a little bit hilly, Renton Avenue, so I give you props. But there's some good food along the way. So, you're supporting local businesses and getting your presence known out there. So thank you. Very good. So now we'll go into our main presentations. We've got 3. We're going to start off, it's still King County Sheriff's Office, but I think Manny's going to take this portion for about 10 to 15 minutes. So you have.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. And by the way, Josh, if you hear a horn toot while you're walking by, that's me, because I've seen you like 2 or 3 times already. So you probably didn't see me. But Anyway, thanks everybody. So my colleague Zoraida and I, we just wanted to keep everyone updated on the King County Sheriff's Office community engagement and outreach efforts. And we are starting to provide quarterly updates to other groups as well. So Zoraida and I have a brief presentation of what we've been doing in the past few months. Zoraida, do you want to
Yes,
your screen?
sure. Give me 1 second. Let me know if you can see my screen now. I won't be able to see. Oh, I can see your faces too. Okay, great. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Zoraida. I'm the U-Visa T-Visa program manager with King County Sheriff's Office. And like Manny, this role is new as well, newer. And I started November 2019. So I've been here a year and a half, I think, a little over a year and a half now, which is great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with some updates. And Manny, have you met, do you want to introduce yourself and then we can go ahead and get started, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone here that I haven't met, my name is Manny Apostle, and I am the Community Engagement Specialist for the King County Sheriff's Office. It's almost been a year since I've had this role. So I've been with the department for about 29 years, and mostly by way of 911 dispatch. And so I took that leap and decided that, community engagement was my thing, and particularly Skyway, because I grew up here in this community. So I have a very, very soft spot in my heart for Skyway. But, there are some challenges, but it's great. I love the communities that we serve. And so, yeah, it'll be 1 year in 10 days. So, yep.
Thanks, Manny. And on my end, my background's on human rights and humanitarian policy, and my work experience is mostly with nonprofit and government agencies, working with survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, refugee, and immigrant communities. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And I just want to share a little bit. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Okay, I wanted to ask how many of you have heard of UN T-Visas by any chance? Has anyone heard about UN T-Visas? No? Okay, good. So I will just share a very brief overview. And then if you all want to learn more about UN T-Visas, please feel free to contact me. And I have a lot of great resources to share with community. So actually, let me minimize the, there you go. Okay. So UN T-Visas, these are two forms of immigration relief for survivors of crimes that have reported the crime to law enforcement and are likely to assist with the investigation or prosecution of the criminal activity, or have assisted in the past with the investigation or prosecution of a criminal activity. These U-Visas, they're designed to offer protection to survivors of these crimes, and they're also meant to help law enforcement agencies investigate and prosecute cases, including but not limited to domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and other types of crimes. When approved, or if approved, these visas provide the survivor with temporary immigration status or relief, including work authorization, and also they provide immigration relief for the qualifying family members as well of the survivor, and they may lead to a lawful permanent residency as well. So this right here is one side of our U-Visa T-Visa informational pamphlet that I currently have available in 16 languages, but we're getting it translated to 27 languages in total, because we've been meeting with a lot of different community organizations that serve various populations that speak many different languages. And so the need for this pamphlet has been increased for different languages. So that's what I'm working on right now. So right here in the middle, you can see the types of crimes that may be qualifying crimes for the U-Visa. The U-Visa is more it's very broad in regards to the types of crimes that are qualifiable crimes, or that qualify, while the T-Visa is for human trafficking, specifically sex or labor trafficking. So if you're interested, I can also share those resources with you. I have the pamphlets available in 16 languages right now via PDF, so I can go ahead and send those out, or please feel free to contact me. I want to share a little bit about the UNT visa program and our services. So we process UNT visa certification requests for survivors that have reported the crime to King County Sheriff's Office. And I would go into detail on the certification, but I'm happy to share more on that if you reach out to me. It's a required piece of evidence that's part of the U visa petition that people must include. It's required to include in the petition in order for USCIS, which is the US, what is it? I always forget the acronym, but US Immigration Service Center, I think USCIS. Yes. Anyways, so it's a piece of evidence that is required in order for USCIS to consider the petition, and it's very important to have it certified. So that's one of our services. We certify requests for survivors that are petitioning for U visas. We also provide intake services to survivors who would like to submit their U visa certification request while they seek legal representation. I'm a native Spanish speaker, so I'm able to assist community in both Spanish and English. I also speak other languages, Italian and Arabic, but I'm not fluent in Arabic yet, so only Spanish for now. So I also refer survivors to agencies that provide legal representation on UNT visa matters. And lastly, provide outreach and education to the community regarding UNT visa certifications. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the language access updates we have. I'm also the language access liaison for King County Sheriff's Office. As of right now, I've been working on updating our language access plan, including our language access policies and protocols and the general orders manual. So that's currently in the works at the moment. And that is in accordance with King County Code 2.15. So I've included the link here. I can go ahead and share the slides after. And when you click here, you can learn more about the code and the requirements for King County agencies serving immigrant and refugee populations or limited English proficient communities. So these are some updates on the translations we've been able to complete. So with the UNT visa pamphlet I mentioned, it will be available in 27 languages soon. We've also updated the complaint form for King County Sheriff's Office into 13 different languages. And I have the link here to where you can find it online. It's already posted on our website. We recently updated the domestic violence prevention in-house form, and that is currently available in Tier 1 and Tier 2 languages. I'll show you the languages in the next slide. It includes the top 6 languages of King County, plus additional languages that are frequently spoken within the county. Our King County, our KCSO public-facing forms have been translated into Tier 1 language, which is Spanish, and that's a required language to have your public forms and public facing forms translated to. That is required. Tier 2 is recommended, but we're hoping to get Tier 2 soon. I'm looking for funding, so stay tuned. With regards to Miranda cards, they're currently available in Tier 1 and Tier 2 languages as well. So that's been updated. And then the Office of Equity and Social Justice, my understanding is they're working right now on I Speak cards, which are little cards that provide information to the community that says, I speak X language. For example, I speak Spanish. I have access to, I have the right to have an interpreter free of cost to me. And I believe they have it or will have it in like 32 different languages. So that's something that ESJ office is working on. And I hope we can have a copy of those soon. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh yeah, this next slide. These are the Tier 1 and Tier 2 languages that I mentioned previously. So I just included a slide here in case people have questions on which languages are Tier 1 and Tier 2 for King County. So Tier 1 is required. Tier 2 is encouraged, recommended. And I believe all languages should be required, but hopefully you can get these translated soon. So, Manny, I'm gonna go ahead and share this is your slide, so please feel free to share the updates.
Sure. So some of the engagement projects is that we've been partnering with the King County E911 program office to produce educational videos about language access, teaching folks how 911 works and how cell phones work, and text to 911. Not a lot of people know about text to 911, but it is available in King County. In addition, I've been organizing some online neighborhood meetings to include deputies and command staff like Major Floor for any type of community concerns. We've been involved in a focus group within the department to assist in actively recruiting to ensure the hiring of a workforce that reflects communities that we serve. And we will be doing a recruiting event at that kiosk ribbon cutting event on Friday that Kevin had mentioned. And, you know, Kevin, Local Services, we have been assisting with distributing the PPE events with the communities. And we have recently just started outreach opportunities at farmers markets. So that's going to include like Federal Way, Burien. We've got Shoreline coming up. I think Issaquah is coming up. And like I said, we're going to be doing the ribbon cutting event on Friday. Zoraida and I will be there. Zoraida is going to be bringing multiple or pamphlets in multiple languages regarding the UNT visa program. Also, National Night Out. I know that you know, there are some neighborhoods there that will be involved in National Night Out. I would love to know what you are planning. I'm going to include my email address here in the chat, and you know, please let me know how I can help you. So, you know, with all of our department's recruiting efforts, Zoraida and I were asked to present a webinar to a national conference tomorrow regarding community engagement. So we're pretty happy about that. So again, I'll include my email address, and you know, please feel free to reach out to me for any questions or any help with National Night Out or any other neighborhood block watch programs. Thank you.
Thanks, Manny. So this next slide is just a little summary of the work Manny and I have been doing. So when I first started in my role, the program was really small. It was mostly certify the request or process the request so they're certified, but I wanted to include outreach in this work that I do, because this information is very important for the community to know, and I would like to raise awareness on UNT visas and the services we provide. So I've been working on a lot of outreach and engagement opportunities with local and state agencies and groups serving immigrant survivors of crime, also engaging with legal and social service providers, working with immigrant and refugee communities, survivors, which may include survivors of DV or trafficking, and other vulnerable populations. And I've also reached out to other certifying agencies, law enforcement agencies, prosecuting attorney's office to see what other agencies are doing, what type of outreach they're doing, what types of resources people have. And I know one of my goals is to hopefully, while I raise awareness on UNT visas, I'm also able to help connect law enforcement and service providers and communities, so we can all kind of work together to help the survivor access the services needed, and not just work separately. So with that being said, I've also worked on some webinars and trainings, information sessions, and creating some resources. We provided culturally and linguistically appropriate information sessions for community members. I've presented in Spanish to various groups, various organizations as well. And if there's a need to have the presentation in a different language, we're more than happy to work with the agency to help get this information out to communities in the language that is needed. The presentation is needed to be presented in. I've had webinars and trainings, and there's future collaboration opportunities with not just with UNT visa information, but other resources as well, with agencies that include OLEO or KCPAO, which is King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. That may include, it's not limited to like Know Your Rights or hate crimes information and other issues depending on the need of the community. And we've also created some outreach materials. I've been working on some outreach materials with information that will assist survivors of hate crimes, and a hate crime is also a qualifying crime for a U visa. So I wanted to share that in case people didn't know that. So yes, thank you so much. Our contact information is here. I can share this with Jeannie, I believe. I can share this with you, or is it
Yep.
Finn? Which, yeah, well,
Either
or-
one. Yep, either one of us. You can give it.
Perfect.
to one of us.
Great. And
And
then
I-
please
I
feel free
put
to reach out.
Zoraida's email address too in the chat as well.
Yeah. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to us. You know, I work with Language Access and the work that we're doing in the agency. We're always welcoming feedback and any recommendations you might have, and we're here to you know, make improvements to the agency as best as we can. So please feel free to reach out. And I'm going to stop sharing now. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you both. There's one thing that I had to Google as you all were speaking, so maybe other people have the question too, just what National Night Out is, because Manny mentioned it and I didn't know what it is.
Oh, National Night Out is a national event that takes place on Tuesday, August 3rd, which basically is a celebration of neighborhoods. And so folks, you know, are, you know, they gather around, they do a cookout. It can be as big or as small as you want, but it involves law enforcement, the fire department, and there are some National Night Out events, I think already happening in Skyway, but, you know, like I said, you know, if you live on a cul-de-sac, you can gather your neighbors out and just go out and, have, you know, a little barbecue or whatever, but it just really celebrates community. And it's been going on for a while now. There's other communities in King County that's having it. Skyway, White Center, you know, all over King County. But yeah, definitely check it out. And if you're interested in putting something together, please get a hold of me. I can have a King County deputy swing by, say hello to everybody. And it's just a great way to celebrate our neighborhoods and our neighbors. So.
Thanks, Manny.
Thank you.
And thank you, Zoraida. All right.
And just to add to that a little bit, in past years, the King County Sheriff's Office has come around to our National Night Out on my street and let the kids go through their cruiser, and the fire department comes so that they can see the fire trucks and just say hello to all the neighbors. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. The kids love it. Absolutely love it.
Great. Looking forward to it. Okay, so next up we have Chief Hicks from King County Fire District 20. So I will turn it over to you, Chief Hicks.
Thank you, Finn. I'm going to share my screen here. Confirming everyone can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, stand by here. Okay. Looks like I'm good to go now. So good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Hicks. I am your fire chief for King County Fire District 20, also known as Skyway. That is not our official name, so I don't want to offend anybody from Bryn Mawr or from Black River or from any other neighborhoods. We are your West Hill Fire Department. A little about me, I started my career in Skyway. I always tell people that Skyway provided my first job at Albertsons, which is now the grocery outlet, and will provide me my last job, which is the fire department. So I will allot it to the Skyway community. Tonight, I just want to give you just some historical information on our department, how we currently operate, and just a little bit about the upcoming levy lit lift that we're going to have on the ballot in general election. I know we have a lot of new board members, a lot of new community members that have moved up to Skyway, and so they may not totally understand how our fire department operates. So just a quick update, 4th of July, our community did quite well as far as fires and emergency medical calls. We actually only responded to 2 small grass fires. I want to give a shout out to the King County Sheriff's Office. They did a fantastic job protecting the grocery outlet parking lot. We all know that that has been an issue and a problem for years. So kudos to them for protecting the parking lot. It looked absolutely fabulous after the 4th of July. This last year has been a challenge for, for everyone with COVID going on in the economy. My department was challenged with PPE shortages. Our firefighters were out vaccinating hundreds to thousands of people. They worked at testing stations. A lot of that has calmed down, but we still have a few firefighters working at the testing stations. My admin staff, the career firefighters, the volunteer firefighters, they did a fantastic job, and they continue to do a fantastic job with all the pressures going on with not only responding to the typical calls that still come in every day and responding to all the COVID calls, donning all their PPE. They've just been doing a fantastic job. So a little bit about our department. It was formed in 1943. When it started, it was an all volunteer fire department. They didn't have any career staff. So as you can imagine, over the years, the department has evolved, has progressed. And so today we are still unique. We are what's called a combination fire department. We are a combination with career and volunteer firefighters. So if you can imagine, we have this small 3 square miles, but we have larger cities around us, Renton, Tukwila, and Seattle, where they are all career firefighters, but our department is slightly different. What that does, that provides opportunities to people trying to get into the fire service. It has evolved into somewhat of an internship today. So the community owes a lot to these volunteers that take time away from their families, work on holidays and weekends to help protect the West Hill. So again, 3 square miles, you can see the map there, nearly 20,000 residents. I know when I started in Skyway back in 1991 with the fire department, that number was way less, probably half of that. We're funded primarily through property taxes. So our staffing, I talked a little bit about how the volunteer fire, how many volunteer firefighters we have. So we have 19 volunteer firefighters currently, and currently have 14 career firefighters, 2 admin personnel, 1 fire chief. That is spread over 4 shifts. So on like tonight's shift, we'll have 6 to 8 firefighters protecting West Hill tonight. Now, we don't have the luxury of a lot of larger departments where they have, a full shift of people protecting like a city. So we rely heavily on automatic mutual aid. So to give you an idea, to run the typical aid call, it takes 2 to 3 people for a BLS, what we call basic life support. If it's an advanced life support call, it takes anywhere from 4 to 5 people. That's without the call needing CPR. If the patient needs CPR, it's going to take anywhere from 6 to 8 personnel. So you can see that our numbers can fluctuate a lot on these calls. So in the graphic, you'll see what's typically a house fire. So your single family house where it would take 15 to 17 firefighters to perform some of those basic fire and rescue duties and operations. We don't have 17 firefighters on shift at one time. So again, that's where that automatic aid comes in. So if our units are out of service on an aid call and another aid call comes in, we typically would get a unit from Renton or from Tukwila. If we get a house fire, we automatically get Renton and Tukwila coming up to help fill the rest of those positions on the fire ground. So our call volume has fluctuated over the years, and we're on track this year, actually up 10% to exceed previous years. So our goal is to be able to meet the need of the calls that come into our district, but also meet the national response standards. So our standard for those critical calls is trying to get to your home within 4 to 6 minutes. We know at times that can fluctuate based on if a unit's out of service. And again, we're using an automatic aid, and Renton and Tukwila are coming up to our area, or it could depend on your distance away from the fire station. We typically don't go lights and sirens to those calls where someone's having some general pain, you know, or they're just not feeling good. We will go lights and sirens to, you know, those calls with chest pain, diabetic issues, car accidents, fires, those more critical calls. One of the ways that we try to improve unit reliability means that our units are in service for those critical calls is public education, trying to reduce the amount of fires that we have in our district. And also, we just signed an agreement with the Renton Regional Fire Authority, and they're going to be our partner with responding to some of those non-critical calls. So the perfect example is someone that calls 911 maybe twice a week or 4 times a month because they've fallen and they can't get up. Where our goal is for this CARES unit, this alternative response unit, to respond to those type of calls and offer those patients resources. So maybe they may need a medication adjustment, maybe they may need handrails installed in their home, but it's an alternative way to reduce the 911 calls. So we're not sending a fire engine to someone who's fallen and they can't get up, but we're sending them a unit that will best serve them and get them the resources they need. So is there any questions before I proceed on to the levy lit lift? Okay, no questions. So this year we are putting a levy lit lift on the ballot for the general election. We are asking the community to restore the levy lit lift to $1.50. We're currently at $1.15 for the regular levy, and we are at 53 cents per thousand for the excess levy. So the excess levy has been in place since 2018 and will expire at the end of this year. And we're not asking to renew the excess levy, but we are asking for the levy lit lift to take us from $1.13 to $1.50. So if you were to take the current regular levy, which is $1.13, and add on the 53 cents for the excess levy is 53 cents, you get $1.66. So that will drop at the end of this year, and we would be at $1.13. But if approved by the voters, then that would take us up to $1.13. So are there any questions on the levy lit lift and what's going to be on the ballot?
I've been checking our Facebook live stream and I don't see any questions coming in yet, but I will let you know, Chief Hicks, if we get any.
Okay.
What exactly is the lit lift? What does it cover?
So the lit lift is basically the regular property tax that we collect from each property owner. So again, our budget, primarily the funding primarily comes through from your property taxes. So the term levy lit lift is just like the excess levy or any type of levy that the library would run or the school district. And it's the way we levy the property taxes. So right now it's at $1.13 per thousand. And as the assessed value goes up in our district, that number tends to drop. So every year, because of the 1% tax limitation, the assessed value goes up, and to keep funding flat, actually that $1.13 will go down. So when I started with the district in 2017 as the fire chief, we were at $1.33. So because of the 1% limitation, as the assessed value of Skyway went up, to keep funding somewhat flat, and we get so much per year, that 1% limitation, it brought us down to $1.13. So as you can imagine, as costs go up, Boots get more expensive, tools get expensive. We have labor contracts, obligations there. And so our costs rise, but our funding stays flat. And so be able to lift that, the lid on that to take us, the request all the way up to what the state allows, which is $1.50. That's what would be on the ballot in November. I hope that explains it.
Got it. Yes, that's helpful. Thank you.
And we do have a message from Facebook. If you can clarify the point where it says annual growth rate of up to 6% for following 5 years, does that mean it will increase by 6%
So
per
great
year?
question. It's a great question. If we didn't do the 6 years, if we only did 1 year per se, then if we went to $1.50 after that 1 year, it will start to drop again. We'd be limited to 1%. So this would allow us to apply for 6% each year up to those 5 years. So again, right now we're limited to the 1% of what we can collect. So if your house goes up, if your house is worth 100,000 and it goes up to 110,000, we'd only be able to get 1% of the 110,000 back for our, for collection. This would be asking for the full 106% for 5 years that we were applied for. Right now, we can't do that unless it's approved by the voters.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, so just real quick, the last time there was a levy lit lift was in 2007 that ran for 6 years. When that dropped off, there was an excess levy, and then another excess levy in 2017. And what the excess levy has been paying for, it's been paying for improvements to our safety equipment, to facilities. As you can imagine, the kind of equipment that we wear inside fires, the kind of equipment used on medical calls, they have a shelf life. They get beat up real bad at fires, and so they need to be replaced. We have been able to replace equipment. The picture that you're seeing there is our rehab unit. That unit replaced a 1983 Chevy bread truck that you probably saw out in the road. So we were very happy to be able to replace that old unit with this new unit. We have ordered a new fire engine and a new A-car, and we have been able to put money away, encumber dollars to be able to pay for a new fire engine in 2025. So that's what that excess levy has been paying for. It's for us to keep up with facilities, safety equipment, and apparatus.
And Chief Hicks, we do have 2 follow-up questions to your last slide.
Mm-hmm.
One question is, the 6% growth rate, is it to your budget and not necessarily the tax rate?
It is not to our budget, no. So it would be, again, what we can collect on the property. Right now, we can only collect 101%. This will allow us to collect 106%. So to keep it simple, 6% we'd be able to collect instead of the 1%. Because right now we're limited to the 1%. So it has nothing to do with our budget. It's assessed valuation of the home according to King County, not Zillow. So I want people to not think that they're looking up Zillow and seeing what their house is worth that we're collecting off of that. No, it's actually what the county assessor's office assesses your property at.
Okay. And then I think this is part of your next slide. Is $1.50 per 1,000 the absolute maximum rate?
For the regular levy lit lift, yes. But if for some reason we could ask for the excess levy, which is what we have currently right now, that is expiring at the end of this year, that we are not asking to renew. So there's actually 2 levies, the regular levy and the excess levy. So both of those, while we don't have a levy lit lift right now, we're still collecting on the regular levy, and we have the excess levy. The excess levy is at 53%, and that will end in December 31st of this year. So right now, if you combine the two together, it's $1.66.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. As a homeowner, I'm like very confused, but I'm sure to others this might make sense. But thank you for taking the time to walk us through this.
Well, yeah, I'm explaining it the best I can. It can get confusing, you know.
Although we are the ones voting on it. Okay, yes, please continue if you have more in your presentation there.
So again, this will help us maintain our current staffing, improve the ability to respond to multiple calls. I talked about the 14 career firefighters. So our current staffing with our ACAR, right? So our ACAR goes to a lot of those medical calls. They do respond to fires. Right now, the ACAR is just part-time. So it's staffed most of the time in the evening when the volunteers come on at 7 p.m. So once we get we just hired 2 new firefighters, which makes up the 14. They are starting the academy, and when they get back, they will be staffing the ACAR during the day. And so that would give us the ability to respond to multiple calls. I can't tell you how many times our engine gets dispatched to a call, and 5-10 minutes later, another emergency call comes in our district, and I have to sit there and wait for Renton or Tukwila to come up from the bottom of the hill. This will give us the ability to respond to those multiple calls during the day, because they do happen. Again, we're always progressive in our department. We're always improving our infrastructure, firefighter safety. Our volunteer program, again, is crucial to our staffing. We're able to maintain a volunteer staff at a relatively low cost, but again, it is a win-win because it gives these folks an opportunity to be able to apply what they've learned, build a resume, and move on to a career department. So every year we're running 1 to 2 fire academies a year, bringing in new recruits, new firefighters into our district. They get trained up and they're out in the streets protecting our district. And of course, emergency vehicle maintenance, which is ongoing. Okay, that is the end. Are there any questions? And if there are any questions, I just want to let folks know that we will also be at the ribbon cutting for the kiosks. We will be having, I'll be there to answer any questions. Also, our health and safety fair will be on Saturday, August 28th. It's always a great event. I've had many community partners already sign up to be at that event to hand out, their swag and what services they provide in the community. I'm still working on getting a food truck there. That's always popular. So it's nice to get back to some norm in our district. Our lobby is open as well. People come up all the time to get their blood pressure taken or ask questions. Our community room is open again to community groups that want to start meeting again in person. We have plenty of cleaning supplies, so people can clean up after themselves to keep everything disinfected. We always ask if possible, the group should be, could be vaccinated. That would be great. If they are not vaccinated, we're no different than if you go into the grocery store or the hardware store. If you're not vaccinated, we ask if you can wear a mask inside our buildings. Again, our crews, our staff has done a great job of not getting infected. They're always protecting themselves. So as we invite people into our buildings, we want to make sure that we continue that everyone is safe. All right, Finn, if there's no other question, that is the end.
Thank you, Chief Hicks. We appreciate that. I noticed in that picture, someone's wearing a helmet that said Hicks, but that didn't look like you.
That is my son.
Oh, are
Yeah.
they a firefighter in training?
He's been with us for over 1.5 years now.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. All right. I think we've gotten all the questions off of Facebook that we had. that concludes our main presentations. I just want to circle back to see if Renton School District or Reach Center of Hope joined us on Zoom and wanted to give a community report, or if there were any other community reports that may be out there. Okay. Well, I wanted to thank you all for taking time to join the West Hill Community Association's quarterly update. We will do our next one in the fall. And so these are a great way for us to hear about what's going on in the community. These used to be in person. West Hill Community Association is talking about how we're going to slowly take steps to get a little more back to normal, but not yet. So we do appreciate that more folks can access our meetings and join us with our virtual format. So thank you very much for spending time this evening. All right, with that, I would like to close us out. Done right at 8 o'clock. You can still enjoy some sunshine. And we will see you all the next time. Bye, everyone.